Hey, you made it! Welcome to another episode of Epic Youth TV. Whether this is your first time watching or your second, because we only have like 2 videos up at the moment, but it's cool to have you hanging out with us. For those of you I haven't met before, my name is Dan. I'm a youth pastor here and on team at Epic Youth, and it's cool being able to hang out for the next few minutes or so. Now, if you want to know a few things about me, I thought real quick I'd hit you with 2 truths, 1 lie. Alright, here we go. Number 1, my wife Claire and I, we panic bought a cat who has 1 eye before we went into quarantine. Number 2, during a swimming competition, I didn't swim, I cheated and I ran along the bottom and I came in first and then went into the finals. Number 3, the thing I hate the most in all of the universe and that terrifies me the most, snakes. Want to know the answer? Well, I'm not going to tell you. I am going to tell you just at the end of the video, so don't skip there. Actually watch the rest of this. Because we are really, I guess as a team, excited to be bringing you a series that we're calling The Good Life. Now, this is all about, despite what is happening around us, despite the environment that you find yourself in, you are able to live a good life. In fact, God's intention is that we don't just get through life, we live a good life. And I want to talk a little bit more about that. And I was kind of reminded to intermediate, my glory days, and I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like myself where you've worked really, really hard and then things didn't quite go the way you expected. As I said, in intermediate, I did actually really enjoy myself. I played heaps of sports. Seriously, like I played rugby in intermediate, and I remember this one game our team was prepping for. Like, it was a big game, we were versing a good team. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm gonna do everything I can to prepare really, really well. Like, seriously, I'm gonna practice my running, I'm gonna practice my passing, I'm gonna practice my pretending to be hurt, falling over so the ref then penalizes the other team. Oh no, wait, that's what you do in soccer, not rugby. Oh, now, but I remember working really, really hard for this rugby game, and game day came. Like, I was ready. Physically, I was ready. Mentally, I was prepared. We were good to go. And then we got there, and man, I was in for such a shock. I remember looking around and being like, these are the biggest people I have ever seen in my life. Seriously, they were like half UFC, half KFC. Like, they were huge. These guys had like muscles in places, they don't even have places of muscle. Like, you couldn't even have muscle in those kinds of places. But these guys did. There were even some of the teams who had like full-on like beards, kids on the sideline. And that was just the girls team. We hadn't even got to the guys team yet. Like, it was crazy. But we got there, into the game, and it actually started off pretty good. But then there was this one moment where it was one of our kickoffs. Someone had just scored a try. The ball went sailing to the opposition. The winger caught it and he just ran it straight at me. And I thought, this is it. This is the moment I have been preparing my entire life for. Like, I came out the womb for this moment. This was it. He ran closer and closer to me, and I just stood there because I was going to tackle him because it's rugby. And so he ran closer and closer, and just as I went to tackle him, it was like everything went into slow motion. Seriously, it was like the light like came through the clouds on myself in this moment, like people in the background like playing a violin. Like, it was amazing. But as he jumped, or as I went to tackle him, he jumped in the air. Who does that? Who, when you go to tackle them, jumps in the air? So it's like in slow-mo. I was like, and he was like, nah. And I was like, why? He came down from the air because he jumped, not gracefully. He came down in the air knee first, and the thing that caught his knee was my face. And so he hit me straight in the face with his knee. I got knocked out, and I couldn't tell you the rest of that game because I still can't really remember it. Let's just say I prepared really hard, and that was not the outcome I had intended. You know, maybe for a whole lot of you watching, you've been in a similar situation. Hopefully not a flying knee to the face, but you've been in a situation where you've worked really hard, or you've prepared yourself for a moment, for a day, for something, and it didn't quite work out the way you had hoped. Maybe for some of you, you had worked really hard in a test, but didn't get the result that you wanted, or you tried out for that team and you prepared yourself, but you didn't get picked. Maybe for some of you, you try to sell your siblings on TradeMe and no one bid, and you didn't get the result that you were after. And I think for all of us, we can live with these expectations that don't get met. And as a result, we go, well, I didn't get the result I wanted, so why would I work hard? You know, in the next couple minutes, I want to talk about the importance of making the most of today by working hard. You see, often we don't want to talk about hard work because, well, work is hard. But I love the story in the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel to be in fact, and there's this guy in there that many of you may have heard of or may not have. His name was David. Now, before he was King David, he was just David, Jesse's son. In fact, he was the 8th son, so way down the pecking order. He wasn't a king, he was just a shepherd. But you know, through his decision to make the most of today, to make the most of his day, to work really hard, he went from David, the shepherd boy looking after sheep, to David, one of the greatest kings, looking after all of Israel and many nations and people that included. You see, although it doesn't always make sense to make the most of today by working hard, I reckon there are 3 really quick key encouragements that I want to give you when it comes to working hard and making the most of today. Number 1, working hard is not just about your personal success, but it's actually about helping others succeed as well. Number 2, working hard doesn't always mean immediate results, but it's actually also about setting yourself up for a future that God has designed and orchestrated just for you. And number 3, working hard is all about realizing that today matters. In fact, I do want to encourage you with a scripture that talks a little bit about the importance of working hard and making the most of today. It's found in Colossians 3, verse 23. Check out what it says. Work willingly at whatever you do. Listen to this part. As though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Remember that the Lord will give you an inheritance as your reward, and that the master you are serving is Christ. So what now? You've been sitting down, watching a YouTube video, now you feel maybe a little bit encouraged, a little bit challenged. This is what I want you to do. In fact, if you only remember one thing from what I've talked about, I want you to remember this. Write down, actually in fact straight after this video, would you write down one thing that you want to work harder in, or maybe one thing that you find a little bit challenging? I want you to write it down, and then, this is the important part, I want you to tell either one of your close friends or one of your family members the thing that you need help or encouragement with to work harder. What that will then do is that will actually hold you accountable to that thing. Don't just make it all about the task though. I reckon set yourself a bit of a goal or a reward as well. Be like, you know what? If I work hard, or if I do this amount of hours in preparation for whatever it is you want to do, then in the next school holidays, I'm gonna buy myself something awesome with your credit card, Dad. Or hey, if I do this, you gotta shout me a movie ticket or a dinner date. Not that kind of date, just a dinner or whatever it is. Make sure that you put yourself a goal, but then also set a reward for that as well. It's been so cool hanging out. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed and felt a little bit encouraged as well. If you did remember right at the start, my one lie was the swimming. I didn't cheat in swimming because I just can't really swim. I drown. So thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you haven't subscribed, you hit that subscribe button now. And in fact, why don't you right now write down one of the comments, and maybe even write down one of the things that you are working towards or are struggling with and want to work harder in. We'll catch you next time.